So like, how are you following this dude? Like, now mind you, I came in with an open mind, like, yo, okay. And he doesn't speak for me. I'm gonna say it like that. Not what I've seen. So people, you guys got my inbox. Send me some stuff. Send me
I
some
got, I
stuff.
got, I got a question actually. And I know we're gonna start winding down soon, but we spent a lot of time talking about how like he states stuff on say getting into like a new relationship or who you can deal with, who you can date, or who you can attract, basically who you can attract, right? But we didn't at least I didn't hear that. Maybe y'all got on it more, but I missed it. But like how you mentioned in somebody's relationship like now, like what's he putting out there like that's affecting current relationships, right? Because we're not talking about somebody who just financially came up and then it's like, yo, I'm with this chick, yo, she ain't good enough for me, I need to mess with another chick. Like he's making some other statements, right? So what's that like? What's playing into stuff that's affecting current relationships? Like dudes are looking at their current chick and be like, yo, what, like get up and make breakfast for me? Like, what's the?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing definitely. I think his definition or whoever's definition of like specific gender roles that should be being played in the household, which I don't, I find that difficult sometimes. I'm a person that I find that like gender specific roles in the relationship are you know was I don't really agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like because
Now I know you're gonna say you don't agree with them all, but you must agree with some. Because I definitely say I agree with some.
I mean, like, yeah, but I mean, it depends because to me, stuff like that is maybe in an old type of way as traditional gender roles in a relationship. As far, I mean, obviously, certain stuff like the protector, I think that men should protect their women. Men should make their women feel secure, but I think women should make their man feel secure, like in different ways. But I don't think like women are confined to the kitchen. Not if you expect her to go out there and have a job and be splitting half the bills with you. Because a lot of dudes, where all this high value stuff aside, they expecting women to help foot a lot of the finances in the house. So I can't. To me, I can't tell a woman to go to work and work a 9 to 5 and to have dinner ready for me when I come home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and do this every day. Like, but the traditional role is the women was the more domestic. But it's hard for her to fulfill that role in totality if you also expect her to take on roles of going out there to earn money. Like if you paying all of the bills, which a lot of dudes don't even want to do, if you paying all of the bills and you telling your girl, yo, you can chill at the house, you don't gotta work, yo, I got this, and you just want some dinner when you come home, you want, the laundry done or whatever, then yeah, I could kind of understand that. But in a lot of times that ain't the situation. Most households have two working people, and so you're gonna have to split that in what may be considered non-traditional roles. You know what I'm saying? And not even 50-50. I don't think couples should split the bill 50-50. I think if they're gonna split it, I think it should be split proportionally to income, not just a straight 50-50. Like we can give up an equal portion of our income, which may require me to pay more of the bills than you, but it doesn't have to be you give me 1,000 and I put 1,000. I might put 1,500 and you might only put 500, but to reach that 2,000 goal, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't look at splitting things as a dead even 50-50. And I don't look at, I don't think that the woman should have to come home and cook every night, because not if you expecting her to go to work. But I don't have a problem with that because I can cook. I was raised.
Wait, let me ask you this
So I
important
don't have
question.
that problem.
This important question on that topic, right? So say you in a relationship with a female, right? Say I'm just throwing a random numbers, right? Say you the dude and you make 80 grand or something, and the female make 65 grand, right? Yeah, both working people, whatever. Now, is it correct? Now, say you busted your ass, and not that you're making a mint more than her, but you're making 15 grand more a year than her, whatever. Now, should the bill? Now, y'all, I don't know, y'all living together. I don't know if y'all married or even say if you married. Well, let's say you're living together. Let's not say you married because that might even differentiate a little bit. Now, should you be changing up your bills where it works out as like, yo, you saving, you putting up enough money, you're spending this much more, and she's saving that much more. So that means, yo, your 80 grand ain't 80 grand no more. Like your 80 grand is like 72, and her 65 doesn't come up to like 72. So it's like, yo, like you feel like you just got knocked down financially some notches because just to be in this relationship. Like,
I don't think you're gonna really have that type of scenario if everyone is paying like an equal.
Nah, but you just said it's not equal, right? It's gonna be
not an equal amount, but equally proportional of the bills. It's proportional to income. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't see where she's.
But it could very well be like that, right? It could very well be like that. Like if I'm making, say I'm making 10, I'm making. Make it easy number. I'm making 10 grand more. She's making 10 grand less.
Okay.
Like our bills are X. All right, you balance it out so we can base it. Well, so we're basically making like the same amount. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the point. That's the whole. So if I make 2,000 a week and she makes 1,000 a week, and I have to give up 1,500 and she has to give up 500 to make it proportional even, let's say. We both end up with the same 500 left over at the end of the week. So how's he really coming up with more than me?
I ain't saying more. I'm saying like, yo, it's just like you were earning, like your income just came down to her income.
Yeah, but that's kind of like, that's part of like the sacrifices and different things that's going to be made, that you're going to kick out more money. And you're going, which will, obviously limit or lower your cash flow to some degree. But I don't really see that as an issue either. If you're talking about taking care of the person you with and you love, and you're talking about taking care of your family and taking care of your household, then I don't really see that as an issue.
You added a lot more to that. That's why I specifically said like you're not married or nothing. Like say you're living.
But she's still taking care of the household.
Whether y'all both taking care of the household, y'all both working, like y'all
split. So that's what I'm saying. So it still comes down to being proportional to income. And if I have to kick out a little more, I mean, the bottom line is I would hope that we doing this together. So if I'm making more, I don't mind if I have to spend a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Even if that gives her the ability to have a little extra cash flow. Obviously, nobody's trying to sink themselves into a financial hole for somebody else. But what I'm saying is, I don't mind if that's proportional. I don't mind that if I have to come home a couple of days during the week and I cook and she cook. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind, washing the clothes. I don't mind doing the food shopping. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But I understand like that's more specific to me, but being raised by single moms, like, yo, and that's what we had to do. Like, yo, we had to wash the dishes, man, and we had to dry them. There was no dishwasher. We had to go out there and cut the grass. We had to do the things. We had to wash the clothes. We had to learn how to separate the clothes. We had to learn how to budget. We had to, so some of that is upbringing also, you know what I'm saying? But like, but as far as but a lot of dudes, they may that may be something they can't compromise on because maybe they don't know how to cook. Maybe they used to having their clothes washed by the mothers or the sisters they grew up with, or the house clean. Like I could vacuum my own crib, I could dust my own crib. You know what I'm saying? I could cook my own meals, anything, as well as the female is cooking it. You know what I'm saying? And I could get out there and do my yard work and everything, and I could get out there and fix my car, and I could fix her car, and I could go food shopping. You don't got to come with me. I know how to find my way around the grocery store. So, like, You know, that may be specific to me. So those type of issues, and this is why with generalizations, everything like, so those aren't deal breakers for me. You know, I mean, if you just telling me you ain't gonna cook at all, that might offend me a little bit, but I don't expect you to cook every day because I don't want to do it either. You know what I'm saying? So like things like that may be deal breakers for other dudes. In certain situations, they ain't really deal breakers for me. You know what I'm saying? I'll jump up and go do food shopping by myself all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like traditional woman roles. That's why I said I don't subscribe to that traditional role, so to speak. You know, I think it's whatever makes the household run the smoothest and most effective.
All right. Mr. Dev.
Dig it.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wind down this convo. We had some exchange back and forth. Interesting topic. Some different views.
Yeah, so we might revisit it in a month or so.
Say again.
We might have to revisit it in a month or so.
Oh yeah.
You know, we didn't even get a chance to talk about, him and Dr. Johnson, Dr. Umar Johnson battling it out. I mean,
Oh, I didn't know they did.
Yeah.
they sort of went at it. And,
People give him a lot of hell too, though.
yeah, they do.
Which is ironic that them two are battling, because I'm like, yo, people give both of them hell.
Yeah, but he gave Umar the issues over the school, and the fundraising, and Umar gave him the business over, I guess the way he feels, the way he talks to black women.
Yeah.
Then
he gave him the business again about how you call them queens and goddesses, and you got kids by different women, and you ain't married none of them. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Yeah, but I mean,
not saying that's. I'm just saying that they was going back and forth with it.
So I mean, like I feel you with that. To me, I mean, yeah, it's good if you are married and have that, but some people just don't have that. Don't penalize the children.
No question.
Don't penalize the children. I know if I got one thing is right. If I got one thing right for his father, I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you can take your lessons and go, okay, they can destroy you, or you can build from it.
Exactly.
I chose to build from it. See, one thing I did, I went and sat with all of the elder women in my family. At the time, Titi Barbara was alive, Aunt B was alive. Sat down with like 30 of them and was like, listen, I need to talk to you all, and laid it all out and said, this is what my thinking is. This is why I do this. This is why I don't do that. And that was a tough conversation. You know what I mean? There's nothing like sitting there with, the women that raised you and they love the ground you walk on, but they keep it 100 with you. You know what I mean? And yeah, he said Omar called him and his folks the Dirty Dozen. I don't like that term, because my whole crew, we were called the Dozen. We still called the Dozen. And we were originally the Dirty Dozen when we were like 17, 16 stuff. I don't like that term. You know what I mean? But I also say this, we can say what we want about, Dr. Johnson and the whole, people, the woke folk and all that other stuff. And I've fallen into every category you can imagine, conscious to woke to, whatever. But I'll say this, we do not know enough I don't know enough about this new brother by the name of Kevin Samuels. You know what I mean? So, I saw when Tempest had wrote about Derrick Jackson. I sat quiet on that one for a long time. Watch women praising him and all this other stuff.
But what was he doing though?
What do you mean? What was he doing?
What was his topic?
Well, you mean basically, the whole. I'm not gonna say kissing up to the women type thing. The whole.
He was telling men that how they were behaving. That's the Steve Harvey effect.
Mm-hmm.
You're attracting an audience of women by, I don't even want to call it bashing, but trying to put the men in their place. And that is okay with women until somebody comes along and feels that, and they feel it's being done to them.
That's true. But let me say this in regards to where I was going with it. At the end of the day, I just believe time is what's best as far as all of this new age thinking, this internet stuff, social media stuff. And I'm still gonna hold steadfast to my original comment about the sensationalism, because that's what pushes and drives a lot of this stuff for these dudes and some of these women, because we got women out there that are saying some things, that could be controversial or whatever. But at the end of the day, time is going to show it. Like, time is going to show it. And most of these people are not what we think. If I had to flip a coin right now and said, is this dude who we think he is? At this point, I don't know. I don't think the coin going to land on me thinking that what we see is what we get. I think what we get is what is being presented. And once you get that edge and you start making money, people run with it. And I don't know. Sometimes you gotta check your sources a little bit. You know what I mean? And I haven't done enough homework on homie to know much. I don't know much about him. I keep telling y'all, send me some stuff. Show me these clips and these videos that show like, yo, this is what he is, and show me this bright, beautiful thing that I need to see. He still is not like my pops. I don't. My pops. That's my role. That's my rock star, my idol, as far as what I look for. And even though I can't walk in his shoes, it ain't, this Kevin Samuel things ain't gonna be it. And I was glad when the brother defined what a high value person was based on his definition. That's not my definition of a high value man. That's just not my definition.
No.
That is just not my definition. And if that's his, so be it. Like, yo, no problem at all. And I mean, some of what was written there, I do believe. Take care of this, do that, and be a man and protect and all that other stuff. But would I want him to talk to my sister or my daughter in that manner to get what he's trying to get across? Not me, because I think it could be said in a different way and more effective. But what do I know? I ain't nobody, So I believe at this point in time we'll tell about the person, but the message will stand. Well, Sean, listen, let me tell you about messages and how I look at messages. Send me whatever. Send me a video. Matter of fact, I dedicate 2 hours of my time in 30-minute increments to watch anything any of you send me. Anything of him. And let's see what the message really is. See, because here's the funny thing about messages. See, when I was at St. Aug, I thought I knew every damn thing. And I used to walk around the campus, with my aunts and, my chew sticks. And, I was that dude, the oil wearing dude. And, hey, sister, you shouldn't be doing that. Yo, brother, you shouldn't be doing that. And it's crazy because the more I look back, I probably did more damage than good in certain situations because of the way I was saying different things. So in essence, it's like, was there not a way that I could have said things differently? But to your point, like you said earlier, when people get, when they push him or it gets, he starts with the questions or whatever. To me, it's all a method, man. I mean, just like when we do our show, this is our show. This is our platform. This is our method. You get to see three brothers up here. Sometimes we have guests. This is our method. This is what we do. He's doing what he does. But apparently, if he wasn't doing those things in the earlier days, and then all of a sudden it started working, because now he's doing something a little bit different. And I don't know, he grew in the moment to do what he's doing now, but that's not organically him. Part of that is the show, if that's the case. So we'll see. Maybe the message will stay, bro. I mean, I'm not against anything that I'm not even against him. I don't see it. For all you brothers and sisters and shit, they'll salute to you. More power and love. I don't see it, but
But do you see a message in this? Do you think that? And I mean, not to start a whole nother show type thing.
No, but that's the question.
No, but yo, do you think that black women and black men, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that they have difficulties communicating, whether it just be in relationships or different things, with one another?
Well, earlier I said, in our community, one of the key things I said was communication. I said we have problems, and I said communication and some other things. But I also look at when I look at the African experience on this continent, when I look at melanated or black people's experience on this continent, to me, we the only people that can't have an opinion about our dealings without everything and everybody else being able to integrate, say something which distracts us from just doing the work. At the end of the day, it just boils down to doing the work. I mean, and again, my parents are my model, and I understand, like, I mean, maybe some people might have had the same experiences. I get it, but they're my model. So when I look at them, it's like, yo, like sometimes you got to close off everything, and you got to get in the room, got to close the door, no cell phones and no friends and no nothing. You got to hash it out. And so when I think about them, I think about us as just a people. And I'm just saying black melanated people. Every other community, like you don't see us. Well, we might have, black people might have something to say about other communities and stuff like that. But I see certain things being said in our community as affecting us just in an entirely different way. And our struggles are just unique and they're different. You know what I mean? So yes, we do have issues. There's things that we need to deal with, and I see that. Well, we got 2 more comments. I know we won't stay up there forever, but let's see what the brother said. But Dev, you stand true to principles and values. Check out the definition, man. And see you, Kevin. Raise your intent. I write that down. I don't even know MGTOW.
What does that mean?
Can you share what that means, brother? So so we can all. I mean, I just wrote it down. I Googled it, and the thing is, I'm glad you said that. You stand on your principles and values, and even where I fall short, I'm man enough to say my bad, or I'm sorry, or I made a mistake, or I did not know. I just didn't know. Tempest wrote, you make a good point. The problem is to touch on men like DJ and KS get as popular as they do because we don't have the relationship role models like you have. I agree. That dynamic is not as prevalent as it needs to be, and we are lost. But that's a whole other. And I'm gonna say this in all fairness. Before I met my father, because I was adopted, I looked at things a lot differently. I can honestly say that and even after I met him, I still was like tripping and doing some things after. I was like, damn. And then it's another thing when somebody you love and respect looks you in your face and be like, yo, you're wrong. And if you don't grow up with a father, I didn't grow up with my biological father. I don't know who he was. So now I got this man looking me right in my face like, yo, that wasn't right. Or he was like, whoa. So what you gonna do, bark back? Or is he coming in a manner to raise you? So in that moment, he was raising me. So I never spoke back. I always took what he said. And sometimes I didn't necessarily agree, but I ain't say it to him. I said it to myself. I don't believe that right there. Like, come on, Dad. But ultimately, he was right. So with my sons, sometimes I might say something that might be like a little crazy. Like, what the hell is Dad talking about? But ultimately, I know what I said to them is right. I'm not going to say nothing to them. I'm not going to mislead them or guide them down a path. So sometimes they ask me things, I'll be like, I ain't going to tell you no lie. Like, I don't even have an answer for that. Hit your uncle up, you know what I mean? Or, come back to me. Let me reach out because I want them to understand, like, the vulnerability is there. Like, it's not like I'm all knowing. I got people who guide me. There's people I respect that I reach out to and ask questions. You know what I mean? And men going their own way. Okay. Men going their own way.
Yeah, I got to look that up too.
Okay, thank you, brother. I'll definitely look it up. I know we got to wind it down. And I do want to say this is a great conversation. And I would like to revisit this at another time because I want to educate myself a little bit more. So at least I can have a perspective.
And I would like one of the ladies, sorry about that. One of the ladies maybe to come on. So it's
absolutely
because it's easier to I see different ones making their points and stuff. And, and it's a little easier to listen to it than it is to try to read it and read every point that you're trying to make. And sometimes, with different females that are commenting and everything, because I would like to hear their opinion, especially you know, in our own type of platform, like I was saying about that, because yo, what I see in some of these Facebook groups, like with these discussions, is like, yo, it's horrible, the communication. And to me, it almost proves so many points that you hear, not just a Kevin Samuels, and I'm not blaming black women. I'm saying like just the level or the inability sometimes it seems of us to communicate amongst each other, you know, and it's crazy. Like I said that, like earlier when I was talking about the hair, and you know, and I know black men have an opinion on women's hair. And the girl literally told me that if you a man, your opinion is irrelevant. And I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to control what you wear to your hair. That's your personal choice. But I can't like, like I wasn't even allowed to have an opinion on it because I was a man. And she literally said that. And I was like, but you're the type of chick that they're talking about, man. This black woman that you just can't freaking communicate with, you know? And I'm like, it almost like proves the point sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I don't I don't accept that every black woman or every black man is one thing because some other one may be that, you know. So I would never indict black women as a whole because of the action of some, just like I would hope that they wouldn't indict black men because of the action of some. But I will say one thing, man, they need to stop with that. Oh, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, and all of that, man. I don't like that rhetoric. And I understand they're independent, and I understand that, you know, you got finances in order and you got good careers and you own homes and businesses and everything. But like, yo, and I'm not, and it's not all on them, but yo, you don't also need to be a single mom. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, that's a crazy freaking message, man, that comes across so much. And I'm like, yo, like, and I just hate to hear that all the
When you
time.
say they don't need to be a single mom, you saying that there's somebody out there that can balance that relationship with them? Or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like, yo, like, obviously nobody's saying that you can't. It's not an indictment that you can't do for yourself. But I just don't feel that platform. Like I just don't like when I hear sisters saying that, man. I don't like I just don't like that, like that rhetoric, man. I just don't like that, like, yo, I don't need a man, or I don't, you know, and I don't like the opposite way where dudes is just like, man, yo, fuck them, you know, and all that type of rhetoric either, kid. I think that kill us, man. Like that's how is that unifying us?
But that word, and when we talked sort of briefly about this a week or so ago, this statement right here, most have issues with ladies, especially black women. That was a sentiment that was thrown out there. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but it's a variable to be considered. And I mean, me and him had not talked about this, and I mean, I've seen a lot of brothers that I know got issues and don't necessarily know how to communicate and don't say the right thing, and then they start hating on the women. You know what I mean? So it's like this. It's like, yo, there's always these different variables, and ultimately, I'm hopeful that you have somebody in your corner that will, tell you like, yo, that's not how this is done. Like, come on, look at this. I know we got to wrap it up. We can take this last comment, yo. It's pretty obvious listening to him. The 1 2 times I've heard him, I can't take too seriously. I'm not sure he likes women at all, but that's all. How about this? All of the women that was here tonight, we're gonna go back through this thread, and we're gonna send you all an invite. And why don't we partially have this discussion with you all at another time, hopefully sooner than later, because I am very interested to see what you all think and feel And not from the not from the angle of us like being at each other's throats, but from the angle like Charles was saying, to listen, to grow and take something from it. You know what I mean? We should not meet each other's throats.
And as a man, speaking for me, not the entire Black community, what I see a lot of times, honestly, it like sometimes it's like anytime there's a disagreement, is not now you do have dudes that are anti-women, hate women, got issues with women, may have issues with their moms or the women in their lives or different things they've been through. I get it, but every dude that offers an opinion that may be in disagreement with a female, it ain't because he hate them. It ain't like it. Like I said, like when they was talking about the Black women with the wigs and the weaves and everything, and I personally, I don't have no problem with it. But they didn't even allow me to say that I ain't have no problem with it because they already told me I hated Black women for even making a statement about it. And like I was like, okay, but I don't care if you got a wig or a weave or whatever. You know, I was just trying to build off the dialogue of the discussion, but because I was not saying what the majority of the people in the group was, which was women, I was literally told that I hate Black women because they wear weaves, and I personally I don't mind it at all. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it has to be, like you said, it got to be that balance, man. You have to be able to listen to things logically, non-emotionally, and understand that, like, yo, sometimes part of communication is we not gonna 100% agree with each other, man. But it don't, my disagreement doesn't elevate to the level that I hate women or I hate Black women specifically. You know, and I've seen that thrown around, not necessarily to me, but I've seen that thrown around in a lot of groups and Facebook groups that I'm in, and I've seen it thrown around. And a lot of it comes solely when the dude don't even agree. All he do is just disagree. He don't say nothing negative, nothing derogatory, nothing disrespectful, but the mere disagreement labels him a hater of Black women.
My brothers, as we said, we are definitely gonna have to do a follow-up on this, and invite some of the people here, and if anybody else wants to join us, come on, let's talk about it. I mean, I think it's a, I think this is a good one. I don't want to talk about our pre-show, post-show type thing, but we knew that this was something that would definitely get legs. And Mike, good push, Charles, good push as far as bringing this discussion, fully into the view. I was a little nervous about it, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, every time I see homie's name, it's like I never see resolve. Like I always see like train wrecks, and sometimes maybe it's not a train wreck, but let's discuss it further. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it further. I mean, I'm seeing
but
more.
The message. Well,
no,
yes.
Well,
let's discuss the message.
Let's discuss. His name is Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you saying the message. Like what message? Like I ain't.
Whatever we feel it is, he's trying to convey. Mm-hmm. And let's have an open discussion. Do you agree with it? Or do you don't?
You have to bring a message and then ask that in the forum, in my opinion, because
no, but that's what I'm saying. So because there's, I mean, we could get on here and we can invite women in here to bash Kevin Samuels, the person, because we already know that's going to happen before we even get on here. We can get women.
Wow. I don't know, man. I think you're setting some rules right now.
What I'm saying is
Z, you can't just narrow it down to one thing, because part of people's problems is his delivery. So you can separate the two and talk about the two things, but there's two. I'm saying there's two issues, but you're saying like just not have a conversation on one. Like that's part of people's problem with them. So you can't say like don't talk about that. You don't want them to get.
But okay, so let me ask you this though, right?
You don't see that?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying happened to one of my family members.
Ain't no question. What I'm saying is this, right? If Kevin Samuel says black men don't do enough to financially support women, right?
I'm listening.
Right?
Yeah.
Or do we? So then should we? That's a statement he made. That's a message he's trying to deliver, that black men need to step up their game to be better protectors of women. If he makes that message, right? You telling me that we can't discuss that message without getting into his sexuality?
That's not what you said.
No, that's what I'm saying. I said I would rather.
What I said was, if that's the case, presented, and then we can tackle.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I would like to discuss, and not. I'm not trying to limit like it only can be this. I'm saying I would like to discuss the things that he's saying, and I would like to hear women's opinion on why they disagree with what he's saying, because I think there's some valid opinions in there. Just like I would like to hear what men who say what they disagree with what he's saying or what they agree with. And there's some women that I've read comments that say how they agree with some of the stuff he's saying. So if we can build on that and discuss that, then we can get some understanding. But I mean, my personal opinion or someone else's of whether he's a homosexual or not a homosexual, and we just discussing him as the person, I think we'll start making it get too far off of actually discussing.
It might or it might not, because you got to think about something. And I know we got to go. But ultimately, if some of the women that are speaking here are saying he does not like women, period. So ultimately, he's a man who does not like women. That's their thoughts. And then if it turns out that hypothetically he is a gay man, would that not bolster a truth to these individuals that have this perception of him and why he might or might not be doing?
Well, I mean, that's only if you're saying that gay men hate women. That's a quality of being gay, that you have that you hate women.
This gay man, if he's gay, hates women, and this is why he is doing A, B, and C. It doesn't make sense. Most gay men hang with women. So I mean, but we're talking about.
That's what I was trying to say.
But we're talking about a man who's giving advice to other men. So now we got two different accounts up here. Lindy wrote, "My husband listens to him all day. I agree with Holly. It doesn't seem like he likes women, and he's tearing the marriage apart. I don't know who he is anymore. He's not the man I married." That is like verbatim what my family member said to me. Like, he started listening to this dude 6 months ago, and I am her confidant. I am who she comes to. And I was like, hold up. And so ultimately, yeah, did I come in biased? Absolutely. I came in hot. Like, yo, you messing up my family's relationship type stuff. But nevertheless, if these are two people that are saying the same thing, and other people are saying the same thing, now think about this. They're not just talking about his delivery. They're saying, yo, he's messing up my household. Wycombe Road, it's that toxic. I almost flipped on my lady until I slowed it down to basically analyze the messenger's intent. Yo, yeah, you know what I mean? And we've had.
No, but neither. Okay, so that's a mention to discuss.
Hold up. We've had more people in the last 10 to 15 years be flashing the pans than we've had all of those individuals that dedicated their lives to helping people in their marriages. We see more of these people coming, these flashing the pan people, and then we don't see them no more, but they do all this damage. Mm-hmm. So, from my background, and especially from a clinical perspective, this is not how we do things. This is not how it's done. My parents, they're social workers. I worked in mental health and community health for many years. That's just not how it's done. So ultimately, for me, again, I'm playing fair, and I'm saying like, yo, send me some more. Let me see. Help me to broaden my perspective.
Look, what perspective?
Causing very real problems in households.
Okay, but what perspective are you looking at it from, though, right? And I don't know. Like I'm saying, like this is what I'm saying about having a neutral perspective. The opinion is that his conversation is messing up relationships because the man is now acting differently. That's what I've heard also. So now what I'm saying is that Well, does your husband hate women? Does he hate black women? If you don't believe that about him, then what is he relating to? And what this man is saying that he's now exhibiting in his behavior towards you or your relationship that needs to be discussed. Like it's being looked at that the man is acting a certain way, so it's his fault, right? That this relationship, it's the husband's fault. But what I'm saying is it very may well be the husband's fault. But the other side of that is if your husband is following or your boyfriend is following something that this man is saying, then my question would be, what is it that this man is saying that this man that you've married to or known you so long, what is he relating to in this man's advice or whatever you want to call it, that it's now that he's now acting upon it in his own relationship, that because he has to be relating to something. If you saying that he didn't start doing this until after he started watching this dude, bro. So are you saying this dude hypnotized him into hating women?
That question is so loaded in the sense where he might have heard something by this man which triggered him into some shit that happened 30 years ago.
It may very well have, but how do you get to the bottom of it then?
All kinds of things. But ultimately, what I'm saying is we're seeing real damage be done in some way, shape, or form by the messages that are being put out there. I'm gonna say I know we gotta go, and I keep saying it. But this conversation is taking its own legs because there's a lot of different perspectives. I don't really know who this man is, but what I know is someone I love was doing okay in her marriage for 4 or 5 years.
Well, she thought
ultimately, the dude who she's married to, the money he's making now, she helped him to get the job for him to make the money he's making.
Mm-hmm.
And even with him making the money he was making, he was not tripping until he started listening to this man. And so my whole thing is like, I've always known you have to be responsible with your tongue. You got to be responsible for what you say and how you say things. At the end of the day, I can say any number of things to tear somebody apart. I know words quite well, but if you have another way of saying it, you're not going to be the ambulance that pulls up.
But that's my thing. So you're saying this man has just been. That you're saying basically this man has been brainwashed by Kevin Samuels into destroying his relationship.
No, that's what you just said. What I said was we don't know. Whatever it is, he could have been speaking past their relationship into something in his past.
That was my whole point. That the conversation.
Yo, brother, please hear me out. Let me finish my statement because I ain't gonna lie. Like if I get cut off, my mind just does this. Sometimes I get cut off and I just go like this, and then I lose my train of thinking, and I do this for about 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, what the hell was I thinking? I can't say he's brainwashed, but I'm quite sure some of them are.
Ain't no question.
So at the end of the day,
but instead of guessing, you can get to the bottom of it.
Even in this discussion, you even spoke about from a variable perspective, like this is how I would deal with it.
Yeah.
So even you have another way of dealing with it. You said I agree with this and I disagree with that. But this is everybody that's talking about this, man.
No, but what I'm saying is
people find things that they disagree with, but what we have now seen, based on this is a grown woman right here who wrote what she wrote about her marriage on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote that on Facebook. And I didn't even say the name of the individual. But they told me what was going on. And they told me how he was flipping.
Yeah.
And ultimately, my advice to her wasn't just to bounce on him. My advice was like, yo, the assessment might need to be a little bit deeper. You might have to step away from the situation and have a wider perspective. Get far away from that piece of whatever the hell it is on the wall, that piece of art. Because you might only be looking at one corner, but you're thinking you're seeing the whole thing. She took this step back, and he even got more aggressive with more quotes and more of this logic that doesn't apply to him. He wasn't, in definition, the high-value man.
Let me ask this quick question. Let me ask this quick question because I'm gonna have to let y'all finish this because I got some stuff to take care of. But when you said a brainwashed dude, what do you mean by that? Like you saying, and I'm asking this question.
Once you ask this question and he answers, I'm shutting it down.
When you saying the dude is brainwashed, is the dude speaking words out of him? In
no, am I saying no?
No. Dad just said that. Dad just said that. So
say that again.
Dad just. Oh, she said mine is brainwashed. So brainwashed in the sense that he's speaking words into him that ain't really his own, and he's just following along with it. Or like I'm kind of saying like, what do we really mean by brain? Because I've heard people who said that they're like, yeah, that's he's right where I'm at. Like that's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But
I'm asking Dad though, because I know you.
What was the question to me?
Brainwashed, like you saying certain people got brainwashed by it. So is it
I said, I'm sure some people have been brainwashed.
Right. So I was just asking, like, for the definition in the sense that, like, brainwash is because the people I've heard, get kind of wrapped up in this. It's like, yo, him and that other MTOW thing, or whatever. It's like, yo, like I heard somebody who's speaking right what I'm thinking, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It like, yo, it's right in line with my own personal thoughts. It's like a coming home kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So who's a brainwash hitting? Like it's
I don't have any data on who's what, when, where, and why. All I'm saying is this. I'm positive that there are some people who are listening to this man that are following his every word, and they are living their life accordingly without anything to counter, without any of the natural variables that we would look at, without having a heavy assessment to go, is this shit about my life? Is this make sense? How does this apply to other people? One thing about me is, like, for instance, we got a show. Nobody can come right now and be like, yo, Dad, let's do another show because this and the third, because I'm going to take you all into consideration first. I'm going to take us into consideration first. Then I might have a discussion with you, but at least I'm strong enough to understand that these are the steps that I would have to do in order to get to that decision. There are a lot of empty people out here. There's a lot of empty brothers we grew up with. Shit, some of them come up in this thread all the time. They empty. They need something. They're pleading for something to fill them. And maybe they don't have certain fulfillments. Or maybe they were happy but then aspired for something else. Or maybe something in their childhood is kicked up. Or maybe the pain they felt with another relationship is now being kicked into this new one. And ultimately, you have to be very careful. Relationships are delicate boundaries. They're very delicate boundaries. We think they're so tough. Yeah, she got my back. He got my back. Yo, that it's so thin, the boundaries, and you really have to build up everything to protect that thin thread. Because if somebody does get into, if your husband's head or your wife's head, that's where you see a lot of problems. I bet both of us, all three of us could attest to somebody who might have got cheated on or something like that because the coworker was just the best friend, or somebody might have did something they wasn't trying to do because such and such was just here to hear and listen, and then I was just so vulnerable. Next thing you know, boom, off to the races. Ultimately, what it all boils down to, and I preach this to my sons, be an individual, and whatever your convictions are, know what they are. Know what they are. When everybody was smoking joints in the 7th and 8th grade, I didn't touch that shit. I was like, nah, y'all do that. I'm not. I was already convicted. Like, I'm not doing that. When people was running up in the mall and we was boosting, because I boosted a few times, not necessarily through the mall, but we was young and stealing bike mirrors and stuff like that. When dudes start, yo, we about to go up in here and do this, I'm like, yo, I'm over here because, yo, what? Y'all gonna do what? But at the end of the day, it was my conviction in that moment. I didn't judge them. They did what they felt like they had to do. But I always tried to stand on principle. So now we talk about brainwash. Yo, what my loved one told me, it was so deep that maybe we should just have this next conversation, invite these other people on. And I understand what Charles is saying about some of the parameters. I get it, but I don't think we should ever censor. That's not what he said. But we
not censor.
No. That's what I'm saying. You did not say that. But I just wanted to say that because y'all know how we talk when we away from everybody. We don't say, But let's close out. Let's just say great conversation. We like Sheena said right here. This is definitely another conversation. sooner versus later. And let's plan it. Let's reach out to some of these people and let's talk about it. I say we talk about it.
Yeah, because if the men are relating to something.
I agree with you.
Mine.
I fully agree with you.
And it may not be the right message.
It might not.
So don't misunderstand that. It may be a totally wrong message.
Right.
But most people are ingesting information and then they're putting these points out there, and some men, like you said, are even acting upon them in their relationship to the point that it's almost ruining or ending their relationships. Yes. I just don't think that happily married men on the norm just do that. And so to me, I feel like for right or wrong, and that's what I'm saying we can discuss. For right or wrong, they are relating to something and they're reiterating it and regurgitating it and living it out to the point that it's causing what a lot of people feel is problems in their relationships. And like you said, that's not the first time I heard that. So my thing is, what is it that these dudes are relating to that they feel gives this man validation and validity? And what I'm saying is I'm open to have that discussion. I just don't want to have it from a point of view, of an emotional point of view, where like, yo, okay, like, you know,
you don't have a key to that though. You
might not. Okay, so this and that. But I don't want to discuss if we're not gonna discuss. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about just me and a person. Mm-hmm. If we're not going to discuss what the man is saying, and then we just going to spend an hour on whether he's a homosexual and how he delivers his message, then we don't get no understanding of the actual message that the person is relating to. We just debate whether he's gay or not.
Just bring the message.
Talk like that.
Yo, matter of fact, when you get it, let me see it too. I want to see the messages, but I don't get it.
But that's my point. So this is what I was saying to the female right there. This is what I would ask her. If she was here right now, and she was on this discussion, I would say, yo, what is it that Kevin Samuels is saying that your husband is now relating to, and that he's acting upon this advice or this information and is causing these problems in your marriage? That would be my question to her. My question to her would not be like,
I'm gonna let it go.
About sexuality.
It's a great question, but I do want to say this to him so he knows. Homie was dealing with depression, right? Homie has some other things that was helping him to deal with depression.
Okay.
So hold up. So homie now gets a job where homie's making more money, and for a time he wasn't making money. So he's dealing with all of these different things that was, whatever. So now he's, sipping. Now he's got the job, but now he's just really just discovering Kevin Samuels. But see, now he's feeling himself in another way that's not realistic to what it really was. The stepping stones have now been missed. Now you miss the value of somebody being there with you when you didn't have that bread, that still held you up, paid your car note when you couldn't pay it, paid your insurance, but now you feeling a certain kind of way because now you here. So now that now that you got your money, now you feeling that swagger. So now, you should be 5 days a week doing this, 7 days a week doing that. The same stuff that you said earlier. You don't even think that somebody should have to do if they out there busting their butt. They shouldn't have to make dinner every night. So the conversation gets deep. That's what I'm saying about the variables. But I'm going to say this. If you have a weak mind, you have an open mind. An open mind is not necessarily always good.
Yeah.
In that type of situation.
But even what you say, though, even in what you're saying, you're focusing on the variables of the individuals and the messages that they are receiving and the things they live. You're not really, because you was able to deliver that whole thing.
I did.
Without talking about Kevin Samuels and his delivery. You was able to deliver those variables to me to give me a better understanding without talking about his sexuality, without talking about his delivery.
But
and
those
because it stayed focused on the context of what it is that's actually what I'm saying is we know the information is coming from Kevin Samuels. We know that there's people that think he's a homosexual. We know that there's people that think he hates women. So, okay. So once we get that out of the way, then I would say to you, okay, so do you think your husband is acting like this because he's a homosexual that hates women? No, you think he's relating to something that this potentially homosexual man with a messed up delivery is saying. So that's what we're trying to figure out to get to the root of it. Unless you're saying that my husband is acting this way because he wants to be a homosexual or bisexual or potentially homosexual male that delivers messages incorrectly to his audience. And I don't think that that's what the husband's problem is. I think it's another thing within what this guy is saying that he's relating to. So that's why I'm saying that, not that it's off limits, but that I just want to try to keep it more focused on what is the root of what this dude is saying that your husband or any man is specifically relating to. Because there are men that are relating to Kevin Samuels that ain't homosexuals.
Do you support him? Do you support Kevin Samuels?
I agree with some of his points and I don't agree with others.
I know, but that's nebulous. Do you support him?
Well, no, I don't support him in the sense that I'm not a faithful YouTube watcher.
No, me neither. I'm with you on that. You support him, Mike?
Nah, I mean there's no way I would say I support like what he does. I mean, can he have some points and things that he says? Like, yeah. You know.
I feel exactly like both of you gentlemen do. But I'm open-minded to learn something new. But here's the deal, guys. We gotta close it out. Mike said it like 30 minutes ago. Mike's been patient. And when Mike gets this look, it's like, yo,
I got a midnight deadline. You know, but I think y'all having a passionate conversation, man. So I'm letting y'all duke it out.
It was a beautiful conversation because it needs to be had. And ultimately, we'll come back to everybody out there. We appreciate y'all. Come back, hang out with us, and don't worry about it. Charles is my big bro. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to worry about nothing, okay? It's all love here. But, have a good evening, gentlemen. Here's
the last quote.
Oh, shoot.
Last quote. It's a quote. No one's opinion. Mine, Deb, Mike, Kevin Samuel. Nobody's opinion have to be your reality, man.
That's a great point. I like that. Mike, look at Mike. Yo, Mike, that was pretty good.
All right, nah, John, he does that every once in a while. He does that every once in a while. He come out with something like
that was poetic
for the rest of your life.
And that's a fact.
All right, I ain't letting y'all talk no more.
All right, man, we out, man. Go on.
All right.
Let's get up out of here.
Talk to y'all later.
All right, peace.
Later.